Fan ran Tassadar in one game earlier. I'm trying to remember how much else Maelstrom has been playing. I wouldn't say it's been a very important piece of their strategies. Maybe they're looking to just sort of force out one of the two melee bans and pick up the other.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that.
Maelstrom will probably ban out Abathur.
I think that's probably the correct.
It's kind of like
here.
if you're ever forced to ban out one of the two melees, it's like, nah, just get rid of Abathur. Kind of covers both a little bit. Both we say both the melees, Zeratul and Illidan, they're both quite strong in their own, but so much more scary when they have the Abathur hats on them.
They are, but just banning out the Abathur individually, that puts you in a very cool position where it's like, all right, well, you can't have Abathur and we can't have Lost Vikings if you don't first pick him. And strategically, I think that's a very good idea. Will they do it, though? Maybe they're more worried about Kerrigan.
They could be scared of Kerrigan. And we have seen that in the past, that it's almost always been an auto ban on Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Are they feeling scared of it this time? There's the Abathur.
Okay, yeah, all right, so that's not the strangest of all things. I think this will likely be Sylvanas as that first pickup for compLexity. They could go for Jaina. I don't think they'll prioritize Kerrigan that hard, even though they very much like playing that hero.
Not on Cursed.
Yeah, if it was,
they
if
could
this was
do
Tomb,
it
it is going to be Sylvanas.
Yeah, it's honestly more of anything. It's just like a neutral pick.
Jaina Vikings? Are Vikings worth getting that early?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
So
it's a good pickup on the map. If it was Garden of Terror, yes, which we haven't seen today at all. And this happened also in the North America June Open.
We saw at least once this tournament.
Yeah,
I think our first game of today might have been Garden.
Maybe. It's still rare.
Yeah, it's definitely not a lot of
I've not
Garden.
been playing it as much, even like seeing more Haunted Mines than anything else.
All right, well, Maelstrom really debating their first two picks. I really do suspect that we will see Jaina as one of them. She's just so highly prioritized. But what else?
Yeah, Jaina's good. It could be Jaina Illidan. You gotta have to remember, Fan is on the team now.
That's right.
Try to secure him one of those
Zeratul.
heroes.
Yeah, as soon as you said Fan, I was like Zeratul over Illidan. On this map, this could actually be the start of an Asmodee composition, and
yes, it could be.
They're really putting that threat there, because what we mean with Asmodee is Asmodee farms up, gets all the stacks for his Globe of Annihilation with Taste for Blood, and then later in the game, once you hit that Globe, Zeratul will blink in, use the Cleave, and often eliminate the backline assassins on the side of compLexity.
If they pair it up with Johanna, like you were mentioning, it's also good to pull those heroes in using the Condemn. We'll see. They have set themselves up very nicely for that. Jaina is just going to be a strong asset to the team. So compLexity sees this. They're looking maybe to take out at least Johanna, part of the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, she's not a required element, but a nice piece to have in that puzzle of the potential Asmodee play. So denying that, nice. There's a lot of options here. They could go for one of those priority supports early, maybe try to set themselves up for Kerrigan later in the draft if they grab Uther here.
Kel'Thas wouldn't be awful.
He wouldn't, yeah, but they want that global presence. They say, Dunk, we know you like Brightwing, we're not going to let you have her.
Very true.
This means they're likely not going to be playing Kerrigan.
I think that's fair.
Maelstrom. What are they worried about?
They have support, or compLexity has support. compLexity has Warrior already. They know that they get the first two picks. They could lock out a lot of damage. Ban one of the damage dealers that they're scared of, maybe Kel'Thas, and pick up two of their own immediately after this, or one of their own, excuse me. But try to lock some of the top tier damage picks away.
Who would you like to see?
Probably actually Vikings. Take away the Vikings.
Think so?
Yep. It's got to be.
What if they want the Vikings?
Maelstrom?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense with their comp too much. It wouldn't be terrible, but I think they're... It does feel like... I feel like... What if compLexity bans Asmodee, though? That's one of the things they have to consider. If they don't have Asmodee, then maybe they do want the Vikings. If they do have Asmodee, then they probably don't want the Vikings.
I'm not sure how much Maelstrom is prioritizing the Vikings at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of picking that up. You absolutely do not want to give the Vikings
I'm okay with that.
compLexity.
I think it's a safe ban. because it doesn't look like compLexity wants to run Kerrigan, and McIntyre does like to play melee assassins. I think removing Illidan is a good call.
That is very understandable. What is going to be the ban? There's a lot of different ways. compLexity has the option of taking away supports. Uther. Tassadar's already banned out. I'm just thinking in terms of promotes. Do you think Uther's a real threat?
Yeah, I think it's worth the ban. Even if they don't have a lot of lockdown, it's still Divine Shield and Cleanse. But they still have to be thinking about Asmoden. I think those are probably the two big
also warriors
heroes
as well. Maybe taking
but Muradin and a noob, they're both kind of fulfill a similar role. They both work, and they are worried about Asmoden, so they do remove him. I think that's smart.
So I would expect actually Maelstrom to be picking up the Vikings here.
Yeah, I do.
It doesn't.
You don't get Asmo, you get Vikings. It's like one or the other. They fit very different play styles, but you're not going to have two specialists like that. It's just not solid, not enough of a foundation of a team.
Unless they feel confident enough that the Zeratul can pick off the Vikings consistently to sort of mitigate that advantage that you get from having the Vikings soaking across the map.
Interesting. Muradin as their warrior, and do they go for a big assassin or a support? Uther's still on the table. Kind of expecting them to leave their support till last, since there's no rush. I mean, Rhaegar, Malf, Uther, they would all kind of work with this composition.
Yeah.
I think we'll either see the Vikings or Zagara or Vala picked up here.
Falstead's a possibility.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. This is Maelstrom. Falstead's actually more likely than... it's probably Falstead or Vikings.
Yep, iDream, KO, and Pro, both.
Yeah, you're right.
Very comfortable. It would probably be iDream on Zeratul. Oh no, excuse me, Fan. I always forget.
Yeah.
KT? You got both the mages.
I didn't even...
We were talking about him before the bans, and then he just like slipped
through. For some reason.
All right, I guess you're not running Kael'thas. That's it.
Yo, you don't give us Asmoden? Fine, we'll take Kael'thas. He's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and they do save that support for last.
All right.
A blunder on our part, not considering Kael'thas, but that's fine. compLexity, they're going to have to pick up two more assassins, or yeah, probably two more assassins here. I don't think we'll see double warrior. They could do it. They could grab a Nubarak for a lot of lockdown. And they're known for having a little bit more of the lockdown style, but I don't think they have enough damage. One Redbeard.
Falstad Vikings?
Maybe.
Could happen.
That's so much global presence. Brightwing,
huge.
Falstad, Vikings.
Also have to consider things
they're
too,
gonna do
like
it. They're gonna do it.
Like poke at the tributes is good.
We talked about this last time. We said, "Oh my goodness, there's no way that they're gonna get Sylvanas Vikings here on
they did
Curse,
it for, like,
Curse
waited
Hollow."
until the last pick,
and you know, here they have the potential to do it. It's such a strong pickup. I'm actually kind of surprised Maelstrom gave it up.
Yeah, I thought that would be the ban to let up or to take instead of Illidan in this case. More scared of the McIntyre's Illidan than they are of Hans's Vikings, I guess.
Well, they're thinking about it. It's their final pick. This is a big point in the tournament. Again, they're playing for a good chunk of change in seeding for that July North America Open happening just in a few weeks from now.
Yeah, this is also a $500 money match.
Yeah, $500 more to the winning team of this match. It's a
right.
big deal.
Yeah.
It's going to be Kerrigan. They had the opportunity. They said no, they want to take a straight-up fight to Maelstrom, and we have to talk about Kerrigan plus Johanna. Now, I'm a bit surprised about this, because generally when we see Kerrigan, you see Uther or Rhaegar paired with her to keep her alive, to give that extra time for that Maelstrom to provide that shielding. But Kerrigan, Johanna, Wailing Arrow, Hinterland's Blast, the Wombo combo potential is real. I don't know if I personally agree with this, though. Giving up the Vikings.
I'm making a face.
I know you are.
Making a face.
Show us the stream.
I don't know about this one.
No?
I don't know. I like Max Kerrigan. I don't think this is the composition to run it with.
Yeah. Especially
Brightwing can do very little to burst that healing. Yes, casters are good to go. Viewers are good to go. I trust that you guys are ready for the lower bracket finals between Cloud9 and Maelstrom and compLexity.
Might have to make a pot of coffee soon. We're at hour 7.5 in this cast. Players got to be in that same boat, sipping those Red Bulls.
Some of them get breaks. Complexity has been 4 games in a row, though, so...
That's something we have to talk about for Tempo Storm. They are currently examining their opponents. Yeah, sure, you could say their hands are cold.
They're cold.
But they have the break, they can eat, they can discuss, have high morales, they're not going to be fatigued, waiting in the grand finals. But game number 1 of the lower bracket finals is about to begin with Complexity on the blue side, Blinks playing Brightwing, McIntyre on Kerrigan, Caterpillar playing as Johanna Hans, rocking the Sylvanas on the Hearthstone card, and then it's going to be Trummel rounding up the team as Falstad. Cap is Wrong Hero. Walk
Hello.
in, LOL, left the game, dip the match.
Great song.
We're gonna leave, we're gonna leave. Jake's gonna sing, and everyone's gonna hate it.
Me included. Thanks, though. Well, so we have to wait for everyone to leave on Cloud9's side. Otherwise, oh, please. Hello?
Victory!
Jake's having a hard time controlling the camera here. All right. Thanks, Caf.
Great! King Caffeine.
Killing esports.
Killing esports. Gotta rebuild the lobby. Gotta rebuild my trust for him. A lot of things got to rebuild right now.
It takes time. It takes time to rebuild that trust for King Caffeine. We've all been hurt by this.
Yeah. All right, well, everyone's logging.
They left? Oh, okay, yeah.
They dipped. They dipped the
just
game.
To get out of the game. All right. Same heroes, same draft. No Vikings.
That's a fact. So we will not be redrafting, just gotta recreate the game. Karstala once again will be the map. The sides will be identical. It will be Complexity on the left, Cloud9 on the right. The observers and the casters will be the Kubi and Solid Jake. And hopefully this time the gates will open.
I can't even draw a straight line. Help!
I don't know what to think of that.
I don't know. I couldn't do it. Still, oh, look at this! I still can't draw. I'm trying to. Oh, I actually can't do it. Can you do it?
Well met.
Okay. That happened.
Handle it!
Let these guys know already.
I want them to find that ready button, and I want them to
hit it very hard.
lay it into the cast, boys. We will survive. We will prevail and cast these video games for you. I'm excited to watch them, but the downtime between the games, when I'm like malnourished and like coffeeless,
Hey, he gets loopy.
I get loopy.
Jake gets
I
loopy.
get loopy. But once we get into the game, you know, we can have it.
Fingers crossed, everyone's on the right hero.
We can hope.
Thanks, Calf.
Thanks, Calf.
Check out this sweet background behind us. Look at this thing. Oh, flowing by.
Don't lean too far back. You'll get swept into the bubbly vortex.
Oh,
game number 1.
Let's try to drum this hype back up. We are jumping into the lower bracket finals between Complexity and Cloud9 Maelstrom. For Complexity, we have... Nope, I lied. Yeah, I had it right. for Complexity, you have Caterpillar on Johanna. Trummel is going to be playing Falstad in the bottom lane. We have Hans on Sylvanas, McIntyre on Kerrigan, and Blinks will be playing Brightwing.
And on the right side of the map, it is going to be Cloud9 Maelstrom with King Caffeine on the Candy King Murd, and Fan playing as Zeratul Dungtrain on Uther. IJ playing as Kel'Thuzad, and it's going to be Caitlyn Pro on Jaina, riding her little My Little Goatee sideways, her feet almost touching the ground. She should really consider dodging rocks because that will hurt a lot.
Dodging rocks?
Well, her feet are so close to the ground, it would hurt if she like hit a boulder.
I guess. You think maybe the goat would get... Alright, anyway. Brightwing takes the scouting drone at level 1. And we do see both of them have been placed down in the space between the middle and bottom lanes, just to keep eyes on the rotations. And with Jaina, Muradin, Uther, those three can make for a very strong rotation crew. We will have to see how that pans out, if that's the aggressive style that Cloud9 Maelstrom wants to run. What do we have for Fan's pickup? Once again, is Regen Master, so he seems to be a bit more solidified in this pickup.
Wow, and these rotations actually, I mean, even though they don't have the Vikings, the rotations are going to be a bit scarier having that Kerrigan. You pull them in with the combo, you throw that poly down, and, well, suddenly it's a bad time for the receiving end.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really all that afraid of Complexity's rotations early game. Not to say they won't have strong team fights, but they just don't have the damage to follow that up. Not early game, at least. And I think, honestly, Caffeine plus Dunk Train and K1 Pro, that's a lot scarier. Oh. Arcane Flare being thrown down. It was good enough to get the sight on King Caffeine, so they're aware that this could be a threatening position. Elsewhere,
yeah,
really passive.
Getting some vision here with that scouting drone. McIntyre just sitting there as a little bat, scouting for his team with the scouting drone.
Caterpillar in the top lane. Actually, this will be in the top lane. We'll have probably a fairly even matchup. Hold on second. Blinks getting a bit low. All right. Fairly even matchup push-wise, I'd say, in the top lane. iDream on the Kale Thos with the Flamethrower. Flame Strike will be able to push up. But, you know, Caterpillar's got that Knight takes pawn in the bottom lane. I think is where we're going to see most of this action. All things considered, not too much action.
Not too much action. No. That's kind of just a passive start. Hi, Cat. Anyways, let's look at the mercenary camps being collected here. King Caffeine and K1 Pro working on these giants on the backside of the map. We do have just fans scouting out Trummel. Just going to be kind of just, again, looking around. Very passive start before that first tribute, which will spawn between 2 minutes and 15 seconds and 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So within the next 15 seconds.
Yes, that will be according to math when the first set of tributes will spawn. So, who has the better team fight early on? Who has the better mobility? Mobility considered, I'm surprised that we don't actually see Trummel in one of the either top or bottom lane. He will be able to rotate down quickly, but it will take some time for Johanna and Kel'Thas both to get to this tribute. Playing a little bit of a dancing game up top. Actually, they don't know who is going to leave between the two. It's kind of funny because obviously if you see one leave, you want to try to match the other team's hero leaving, but if you start to rotate down and they stay, you get more experience. Bit of a game played between both heroes.
The dance will continue between Johanna and Kel'Thas to see who is the more beautiful blonde. But here in the bottom of the map, we have McIntyre dancing with K1 Pro, dodging blows and Caffeine, buying time for Dunk Train to actually grab this first tribute.
So, first tribute grabbed, not the most impactful, of course. You need to grab 3 of those to have the objective handed your way. Of course, that is the curse. All of your enemy's minions will be dropped down to 1 HP. Very easy to clear them out, and of course the structures do not fire back. So teams will do as much in their favor as they can to deny those tributes being collected. Usually if 2 in a row go to one team, that's going to give a lot of map control to that team, as the third one has to be responded to from the team that is in the deficit.
Or we're just going to face it up to relieve Johanna from that top lane. Both teams have hit level 7. Let's take a look at the talents. Becoming a common thing, seeing Netherwind picked up at level 4 for Kel'Thas players. Fish and Bomb, the standard pick at 7. It's going to be Battle Momentum. And for Murden, once more, that just means more Avatar, more action.
Yeah, that's I'm starting to see that picked up more and more. And I was just saying this like last night. I was playing Murder, and I was like, people don't really grab Battle Momentum. It was something that we saw in EU for a little while, and now teams are grabbing it more and more.
Yeah, but King Caffeine once again channeling that. It's going to be a tribute advantage in favor of Cloud9. 2-0 right now. That one went completely uncontested, and there's a slight lead in Soak because of that Bruiser Camp, or experience because the Bruiser Camp was picked up.
Yeah.
Is that worth giving up the tribute? No. I don't think so.
Especially considering both these camps should be trading out in the mid lane. Bit of aggression between the rotation. And Fan has got pretty much got his full kit. He's got the focus tag. He has the follow through now. It's going to be a lot scarier for heroes like Falstad, like Kerrigan, like Sylvanas.
Yeah, and just this combo of Johanna, Kerrigan pulling in the minions, eliminating the bruisers the best they can. Caffeine, though, stepping on in with Muradin and saying, nope, my bruisers are more powerful.
All right, what else do we have? We do have the Shade form picked up. 2 Envenoms on the side. Yeah, that is the cloak.
Yeah, I think
picking up a bit more steam. We either see that or Unstable Poison.
It's just interesting because, like, they don't have a crazy lockdown comp on the opposing side, but, it's still a
no. I think between Muradin, the Gravity Lapse on Kel'Thas, and the Hammer of Justice, that's scary.
That's fair enough. All right, well, I do like the talent regardless. Giving up Unstable Poison, you lose a little bit of push potential, but still very good for just juking your enemy team.
Yeah, Unstable Poison looks to be maybe even getting some changes in the next patch, possibly coming. PTR shows that the effect can only be hit once. Is that right?
I think you are correct.
Once within a certain amount of time. So maybe we will even be seeing less and less of that ability.
Seems likely.
After this next patch, which is, of course, hitting Tuesday.
Can't wait. Anyways, level 10 has
Yep.
been reached for the side of Complexity. Hinterland's Blast, Blink Heal, Blessed Shield, Wailing Arrow, and Kerrigan going to go for the Maelstrom.
Despite not having the greatest amount of support through Brightwing, or at least burst support, still going to go for that Maelstrom. We haven't seen Ultralisk in some time.
Yeah, I mean, even with the changes coming in this upcoming patch where you can control it after death, I don't think it's going to see much of a resurgence in its play style. But what do we got for heroics in the opposing side, Coops?
Yes, we do have the Divine Shield, the Avatar, Phoenix, Void Prison, and of course the Water Elemental.
All right. Now this is all about the setup. So much AoE damage. The double mage is something you always have to consider as being very dangerous in the late game. But we're not quite there yet.
Very, very slow start to this game. Both teams just, you know, there really is a lot on the line.
Passive, yeah. You're just playing safe, respecting their opponents, just kind of soaking and trying to get those tributes. But this is when the aggression is going to commence because, well, Cloud9, they want that curse. Complexity, they cannot allow them to get that curse.
Falstad remains in the top lane, of course, does have the fly abilities, making use of it now. We should have full representation from both teams to take this fight.
Oh, Divine Shield was used very early. McIntyre trying to juke and be a big Wailing Arrow. Hinterland's Blast get interrupted by Murden at the last second, saving K1 Pro.
Yeah, he was done. If that ended up connecting, iDream is now trying to get as much damage in as possible on the Kill Plus, and they will be able to take out Caterpillar, and also Blinks.
Ooh, he does get it this time, though. No more interrupts available. We do see the Flame Strike will be juked 1-for-1 down. Johanna and Jaina. Warrior down for one team, Assassin down for the opposing, and Kerrigan is happy to hop on in after tapping that well.
Dodges the Flame Strike, and they have to be careful in the positioning, especially for iDream. You can see that King Caffeine is staying close, making sure he's able to peel for his backline damage, and I think all things considered, yes, I would say that Complexity did get the better end of that fight. They were able to pick up their second tribute, so now things are all down to this next tribute that gets spawned.
And look at this aggression provided by Sylvanas. That's why she's such a good hero. You take that win. You know you have the posture to grab a structure like that, and a fort has been removed. Suddenly, they have a nice experience lead going towards level 13.
One takedown each, but you're right. That half-level lead is very prevalent for Cloud9, Complexity, because they're able to take down that early fort and set up towers, of course. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Merc camps being collected on both sides. It's going to be the blue side, Bruisers, the red side. Bruisers collected the tribute, though, very much in favor of Cloud9, right exactly where they want it to be, and we're going to have to see both teams fighting this as it is the
Still another 15 seconds before most of the heroics are back up, with the exception of the Wailing Arrow and Blessed Shield available. We have the Phoenix, Divine Shield up, Water Elemental is up, so I think there might be a bit of posturing before either team really commits. This is a lot of damage. Wow, Kelthos just a bit out of position. Fan looks to try to flank to the backside to punish. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything.
I mean, he can stall it out, but he's not going to be able to stop it. We just see him down pulling Caffeine, not really going to be able to get much done with that. Kettle just forcing them back, allowing this curse to be collected here in Cloud9. Falling behind on the curse count.
All right, what's the play? What is your team going to do with this curse? This is a great start to a really strong team like Cloud9 Maelstrom. Complexity looking to try to, again, change the pattern of things that have been happening in these tournaments. They want to really show that they can take down Cloud9 Maelstrom. You need to make sure you're getting as much of an advantage as possible through the map objective. What is the play?
Oh, well, they're just going to chip away, it seems, now that they have such a powerful team, right? Double Mage plus Zeratul. So now they have level 13. Flamethrowers allows Kelthos to kind of throw these out from a very far distance, and Fan just needs to poke away at the back line. As they whittle away and force out that gust of healing on Brightwing, well, they're not going to have as much sustained capabilities. And if they just keep poking and prodding, they can wait for an opportunity where Brightwing's a little bit weaker and strike at that moment.
They were able to stall long enough to take the fort down. The top fort did fall to the minions as well. So I'd say this is enough of an advantage. They have all the front-facing structures down. They have this experience lead. They're well on their way to level 16. It wasn't too aggressive. I think they did enough damage considering this early to mid-game curse.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And False is going to fly down here just to clean out this bottom lane. Fan looking to potentially contest him. He doesn't know who else is in the area, so that's why he's not getting too aggressive right now. He's just making sure that he can get eyes on the rest of the side, and then he might go into trouble to try to lay out some abilities.
Yes, we didn't see, the updraft was not grabbed at level 1 for Trumbull, so it's just a little bit less safety. Fan is, of course, aware of this and try to put a lot of pressure on, especially if he's a bit further away from his forts.
All right, but Trumbull still down here in the bottom lane. Zeratul once again going to get eyes on that bird. Will he actually commit? Well, time will tell.
Okay, just a lot of posturing. This is sort of a neutral time between these tributes, and it's still going to be something that compLexity has to contest from here on out until one of those curses get grabbed for Cloud9 Maelstrom. They're still threatening. They still have 2 out of 3 of those tributes.
All right, McIntyre, King Caffeine, both trying to posture in the same area. This is a bit of a interesting situation, but Cattle comes from the backside. Stormbolt goes up, right wing phase shifting down. Going to be a full-on disengage out of Cloud9 Maelstrom because Kael'thas not down here. He's in the top lane clearing out those giants.
Okay, Golem being scouted out. Are they going to be able to take this down fast enough? Cloud9 Maelstrom is aware of this. Do they start their own Golem? Do they contest? They're sending members down. Dunk Train, K1 Pro in the area. I don't think they'll be able to get there in time.
No, Kael'thas is too far behind. They can't contest this. That's a nice, clean pickup by compLexity. And they're happy to take a fight here. They have a level 16 advantage. Blood for blood, critterize. And then we have, of course, the imposing presence and the overdrive.
Yep. Imposing presence, not necessary, I would say, against Zeratul. It helps a little bit, but only if he's really chasing a Johanna down. Is that going to end up playing a big factor?
Yeah, but hey, it's damage mitigation no matter how you look at it.
Sure. Things to consider. This Golem will be pushing out, providing a bit of a distraction. Probably will send one member back to take this tribute. You have a set of options here. You can try to chain Golems together, get the pull, and getting the stun onto Uther. The pull from Johanna to follow up. A decent silence, but I think this is really just going to be a bit of an overextension at this point.
I think that was a wasted Wailing Arrow, but the damage goes out onto Muradin, very quickly eliminating him. Hatred Blast will take out Zeratul, and Dunk Train is now in awful position. Going to try to heal himself up, but with that Haunting Wave going forward, Kerrigan dashing in, the Divine Shield just barely keeping him alive, but he's overstayed as well.
Didn't have enough mana actually to get the full pull into that, but I like how he was able to bait. Oh, McIntyre's going to fall to the Living Bomb. He gets it at the last second. Well done from iDreams to pull that off, but still, this Golem has done quite a bit of damage. More than enough time, yes, for Trummel to fly over to this tribute to deny, yet again, the curse from Cloud9 Maelstrom. They have this keep down. Structurally, they're looking good. There's a lot of push in the top lane.
compLexity, they're bringing the pain right now, Coop. So there's no other way to put it. They're up to a little over a level right now, and they have full map control.
That was I liked the bait for McIntyre once he jumped onto Uther, being played by Dunk Train. He was expecting the combo to be thrown down, that Primal Grasp into Impale. Just waited, got the baited that out, baited the Divine Shield out, and was just he didn't have to throw his combo down. Almost was able to get the pickup onto Kael'thas.
And they're making a case here for that last pick Kerrigan because the plays are working out for them. I mean, we know McIntyre is arguably the Kerrigan player, and he's looking good right now.
Yep. I would say that, especially the fact that he's a strong Kerrigan, he knows what he can get away with, especially without a strong healer to back him up. He knows if he has a Divine Shield behind him, he can go a little bit crazier, get into the back line. If he doesn't, then he picks and chooses the right moments, pulls people in, tries to blow them up. That's what they're really going for with this style. They're going for blowing heroes up very quickly. And Trummel has been hitting a lot of very good hint ones last week. The setups have been good, and they've been picking targets off left and right in the back. Even if they're only hitting that one target, it's still very worthwhile.
It's a takedown from long range. Yeah. Like, we saw the Jaina get interrupted from Muradin, the Jaina takedown, and then another one just goes out. The second attempt was going to be clean as well.
Okay, level 16. This is maybe the first team fight. Well, I don't know. They had it for the last one.
At the end of it, they had
Flamethrower plus Ignite. This might make a bit of a difference for iDream if he's able to focus at that full mana bar. And yeah, it's just going to provide a lot of zoning. Will this allow Cloud9 Maelstrom to get the first curse of the game for them?
All right, nice blink out of Fan to get out of harm's reach of McIntyre. Again, those flame strikes coming out from Kael'thas. Jaina always looking for the flank. K1 Pro along this back wall, waiting to throw down that water. Big condemn with the nice Divine Shield coming out from Uther. That's exactly what they needed. We see that Void Prison buying some time. Kettle gonna get a huge condemn, but it's too little too late. Flame Strike hitting 2 targets. Blinks and Hans both very low, and the Stormbolt securing another takedown onto Hans.
My goodness, both of these teams, they really know the advantages when they have it, and this is convincing for Cloud9 Maelstrom.
Wow.
They're able to get a curse. At this point, they have a Golem up on their side of the map.
Look at these death timers with a curse.
I know. We're level 19 at this point in time. We're 16 minutes in. This is going to be big damage.
Yeah, just push in, take out a keep. That's exactly what they're going to do. They say, forget this fort. We want your keeps. We're going for the throat.
Yeah, they have an entire 30 seconds before any of the members are going to be back up. It's just Trummel defending. And
that's huge. This is massive. They're going to get 20. They're going to get the keep. Are they going to go for the core?
No, they're not going to go for the core. If anything, they're going to try to take a second keep.
Yeah, even then, I think they'll just back up, get the fort, and then maybe get a boss.
Yeah, that's also fine too. Probably the more passive play.
They're not going to, if they don't get the fort, they don't get catapult. So I think it's a bit odd to not at least throw a few skill shots at it. But okay, that's their call.
That's why they're in the hot seat, or not.
Yep, exactly. All right, and they are starting on that boss. So we did call that as a possible option for them. I like the fact that Muradin and Fan went back to basically get mana, because without mana, you can't fight at your full capacity.
That's
and the
true.
enemy team will be responding with their full capacity.
Also, Storm Talents just around the corner for Cloud9. Actually, both teams. They've done a good job catching up, or at least compLexity has, despite this disadvantage that they're facing. We do see the double rewind. Muradin and Zeratul, strong abilities picked up for both. Bolts of the Storms for the mages. Uther, I have to imagine it's probably going to be Redemption. That's usually what we see.
Yep.
Could be Bulwark of Light, the increased duration and reduced cooldown on the Divine Shield. I don't see a need for it.
Yeah, not in this.
Only if you had like Illidan or maybe like a Shadow Assault Zeratul, would you go for that? Not the case. So
beautiful scouting drone positioning here, giving vision on the boss, and that's just they're not even worried about defending that top boss because that fort is still standing. So it will take it down, but not really all that convincingly. It's they don't have to worry too much about it.
Epic mount! Always really happy to see this ability. Of course, that reduces the startup time by a half second on the start of the fly, and of course reduces the cooldown, increases the speed at which Trumbull will be able to fly to target, so he may be able to get flanks, chases, provides a lot more opportunity. You're sacrificing a bit of damage and range on the Hinterland's Blast, but he's already been hitting them. It's already been working out well for the team. Anytime that he lands them, they usually take out a target, so I don't think he necessarily needs the extra damage.
Scouting drone has expired. No longer has vision on this bottom goal. Only lasts for 30 seconds. So Cloud9 realizes that compLexity might have stepped away, and they're starting to work here on this bottom golem.
All the while, the golem pushing in the top lane, it was just about to expire, but Brightwing is going to... Oh, great VP! This is such a good play, just to make sure they can guarantee themselves this. I don't know if they're going to go in. They're going in.
I mean, we do see Avatar being used. The Blessed Shield with the Blast combo, but it's not enough for a takedown. But there is that epic mount! The heals and the Divine Shield from Dunk Train are massive. iDream has not fallen. Dunk can fall here. He has Redemption, and the Ghost will keep the team alive. That's the first target they want to have fallen. Look at the damage from the Flame Strike Kubi.
Yeah, Blinks is able to... He's going to end up falling. Hans will also fall. Fan looking to try to get the remaining amount of damage on this, but they already have a keep down. The remaining members of compLexity are down for another 50 seconds. They have a golem pushing in the bottom lane. What is the play? Do they go in? Do they take out the keep? They couldn't end.
They're gonna. I think they're gonna try to end. They're just going for this wall, taking out these towers and marching forward. They know they need to at least open up the retreat path in case something bad does happen. But they're going straight for that core. Remember, Void Prison can't be used to stall here for another 40 seconds, so that will not be an option. And they're realizing the damage they're taking might be a bit too much. Backing on out.
A lot of towers just firing at them from all different angles. They do stop that boss pushing in the bottom lane. I think that's really what came down to him. KO Pro as he overextended.
Oh, no.
Caterpillar. Okay. Still able to get out. Just not a lot of damage with that Johanna, of course, but well done.
All right. Well, and all things considered, they're only going to get catapults in this single lane. I feel like by considering the core, they kind of blundered a bit. It looked like
I mean, of course. And so in retrospect, they should have just taken both the keeps. They could have taken both the keeps, but you know, it's something where, hey, if you were to ask any top player or most top players, you say 20 minutes into the game, you take out 4 heroes on the enemy side. It's 50+ seconds on their res timers, and you already have a keep down. Do you end? I think a lot of people would tell you, yeah, you do. Yeah. You try to end. It just kind of happens at the positioning where they had gone in earlier with the curse. They didn't take out the auxiliary structures.
I think that's what it
really
came
comes
down
down to.
Yeah.
A lot of damage.
The fort and all those towers being there, they took so much damage running.
You take a lot, just getting to the core. You take a lot of damage, and it's Uther who's on the healing. If it's Malf, maybe you can get away with it. He still has Trank up or whatever, Life Seed. Not the case, and they're just going to look to continue pressure. So unfortunately, they should have been able to take out the remainder of the keeps. This would have gotten them a lot more catapults. Push. We see the King Caffeine has to use the Muradin. Dwarf Toss to get out.
All heroics available on both sides for this potential fight. Cattle wants those bruisers, but so does King Caffeine. This is such a dicey situation. Beautiful play by McIntyre, pulling him off.
Yeah, that was a great little nook and cranny that, of course, he's aware of. We will see the bruisers going the way of compLexity.
1-to-1 in terms of the tribute count. Right now, Cloud9 in position to collect them. King Caffeine just constantly scouting out back here, trying to buy time. iDream is channeling. This will be enough time for them to collect that tribute, giving them that 2-1 advantage.
All the heroics are still off cooldown for both sides. I think Cloud9 will back up. They'll take their Giants, not to do anything risky at this point. It's still, you know, there's a keep down on either side. Very close game in that regard. 10 takedowns to 6 for Cloud9 Maelstrom, but considering the level, it's just one level advantage. When you get to like past level 20, it's not.
I mean, the stats are nice, but
it takes so long to level up at this point.
It does.
You know, you're looking at even footing from both sides. If there's a convincing team fight either way, the game will end.
All right, well, those Bruisers have made their way down the middle of the map. Giants marching down bottom. Both teams playing rather passively, waiting for that next tribute, which will prompt a bit of aggression on either side. There's a few options. Now, they could try to backdoor, try to get some structural advantage. And the big advantage for compLexity is the fact that they have them in their base, right? They're pushed back.
Yep. That tribute spawning is really just allows compLexity to sort of retreat back onto this. But the other unfortunate thing is the two of the heroes are in the bottom lane. It is the two heroes with the extra mobility, and they'll be flying up Epic Mount, making full use, and we'll probably see that phase shift in. So compLexity was able to retreat onto this position. They forced Maelstrom to move in to invade, and if it's on compLexity's terms, especially with a more defensive warrior such as Johanna, that's always going to be in their favor. Trumbull's just sitting back there. He's like, give me the opportunity to take a hero with the Hinterlands Blast.
And remember, Brightwing is currently soaking experience trying to catch up in the bottom lane. That's push, it's soak, and she is phase shifting in, which means they are here to fight. There's no retreat happening.
Oh, the Dunk Train!
Once
she's gonna get it!
The battle, but that is a curse that does go down.
Okay. I don't think there's going to be too much opportunity to chase it. Really, it's just Caterpillar that is low, and of course it's Johanna. Oh, hold on a second, the leap forward. A great bolt from McIntyre to keep him safe with this curse. What are they going to be able to do with that? I think they're backing up to take the Golem. This will put a lot of pressure on the north side. Keep on the compLexity side of the battlefield.
I think what this will end up, I mean, they know this forces them back into their base. And, well, that's what they think, at least, because compLexity is not doing just that. They're making their way up. But Cloud9 realizes they're not destroying the minions. Therefore, they must be coming towards us. Beautiful positioning here on King Caffeine. The Ironhide keeping Johanna safe, being able to back on out.
Okay, I was going to say, if they manage to get this Golem, the Golem on the lower left side of the map has spawned just now. So I think... I've said it in the past, whichever team wins this, if it's convincing, you know, you're either getting yourself 2 golems, maybe if it's not enough to finish for the game, but that could be a lot of pressure for either side if they do end up taking it. That's a lot of damage for Caterpillar to take. Yeah, he's a warrior, but it's never a good way to start out a team fight.
Yeah, but all the while, the top keep did end up falling because of that curse that is currently active. The shields on the side of compLexity taking just a sliver of damage, but 2 keeps down.
It's interesting that they would be posturing to take this Golem away, and then back up. They're like, oh, we're taking too much damage from the curse. Curse ends, and they're like, oh, we should go back and take the Golem. That's just indecisive. Like, what was your game plan at this point in time? Like, you have to say, like, what do we want to accomplish? We want to stop them.
That's what they wanted to accomplish. Woo! That's going to be 2 takedown in favor of compLexity, but Uther will respawn, and they managed to trade out Falstad. So all things considered, this fight is far from over. Dunk Train is back alive in action. K1 Pro gets hit with the Divine Shield to stay alive, and McIntyre is going to fall. Big damage. Caterpillar with that last
Indestructible keeps Caterpillar alive, but I think that's going to be the end. He's able to trade out to take out K1 Pro, but the Johanna is going to end up falling. What does this leave? We have 3 members. We have the Golem pushing in the bottom lane. That's going to be more than enough opportunity. Yes, it's an entire 30 seconds before Trummel is back up on Falstad. So a really great start to the fight, but unfortunately it was Uther was one of the heroes that got caught. He did have the redemption off cooldown. Maelstrom will take an early victory in this lower bracket finals. A 1-0 advantage.
Yeah, game 1 going the way of Maelstrom, but I gotta say compLexity looked great. Woos across the board.
Yeah, really exciting team fights. So they looked good. Man. They looked good. Like their setups for the team fights were so strong. And if they had Uther or Rhaegar on their side, I can't imagine how much different those fights would have looked. Keeping Kerrigan alive.
She is a scary lass. A scary lass.
If she's got that support. That was the thing we were critical of when we looked at this draft.
Still, you can't knock on the play that we saw from McIntyre in that game. He played very passively until he saw an opening, and then he would dive, and he would almost always pull in 2 to 3 people, which would often translate into a takedown. As a result, he would end up falling frequently because, yes, he doesn't have that support. But I gotta say, I've really enjoyed that draft, and so many props need to go to Trummel and his Hinterland Blast.
Yeah, they were very on point, and just the setups for them too. You know, Johanna pulling in, the silences were usually on point. So in true complexity fashion, the technical aspects of the team fights in terms of lining up a bunch of skill shots together, it was on point.
Very good.
Just a couple slight tweaks in terms of who got hit by those skill shots really determined. Because if it wasn't Uther, if it was like, you know, Jaina Kael'thasika pulled out of the fight immediately, though that last fight would have gone the way of complexity for sure, they would have won the game.
But on that note, guys, we're just going to get game 2 ready to rock and roll very quickly, so stay with us. We're going to be back after a very short commercial break.
They say
Alrighty, guys, welcome back here to the lower bracket finals. But currently having Cloud9 up 1-0 over compLexity.
So what is the game plan? What do you take away from Maelstrom in this next set of picks, Vans? What is the map? That's the first question. It's Tomb of the Spider Queen. Still a strong map for compLexity. It's obviously probably why they picked it. It's got a lot of aggressive possibilities. Kerrigan could still be a thing, so we may see a Kerrigan taken out very early from Maelstrom at this point.
Okay, the draft link is coming very soon. Just wanted to confirm that. But yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen, you mentioned Kerrigan.
Yeah.
I actually really do suspect that Maelstrom would end up banning it out this game.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
It's a very different battlefield here playing on this map. Much more close quarters, and just it's all about those roam and ganks.
Yeah.
The heavy rotations is much more aggressive early game than what we saw on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, and I mean it was on a nice edge that last game.
Yeah,
and Kerrigan had a lot to do with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So don't leave that up to chance for Maelstrom. I think they will take that out.
All right, well, the draft will start very soon.
Yes, other things to consider. Asmodan plus Johanna. We know that Maelstrom likes to run this. compLexity thus far, I don't think from the last couple of tournaments that we've seen them play, have they run this too much? Not at least with high priority.
I can't recall.
Not that I remember seeing. So, that said, what else is strong in the map? Vision. Zagara, of course. Again, that's a hero that neither team really runs with a lot of priority, but Brightwing, Mouth, both of those supports with the scouting drones.
It's a big point. I mean, it's all about the vision. Tesla is a very highly sought-after hero here on the map.
That's another good point.
He's got the wave clear, he's got the vision, he's got the defense and the structures. But we've seen a fair amount of use out of Asmodan here for Cloud9 in particular.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be too surprised if they tried to draft into that McIntyre.
I think that that sent a very early Johanna pick in the last game. Yes. That was something that they were afraid of being a potential for Cloud9 Maelstrom, was to take that Asmodan pick. Just waiting on the teams to ready up for this draft. I think one of the teams didn't quite get the other half of the link.
Yeah, we're just basically the way that we do the drafts here in Heroes of the Storm. If you're actually not privy to that information, is well, we use an external tool, either Stormcraft or Heroes Draft. They're two websites that exist, and the players basically receive individual links in order to perform their side of the draft. It's a really cool resource that we have, since the in-game draft system doesn't facilitate a lot of different drafting tools, like styles like double ban and so on.
Double ban. Or bans in general.
Bans in general.
You can't adjust the timers in which you're allowed
to. You can't trade heroes.
Can't trade heroes. Yeah. So there's a lot, a couple of small tweaks that need to happen to the in-game draft system before tournaments can start making use of it.
Yeah. That's pretty much like once that all happens, you'll see us use the in-game draft. Yeah. It'll actually make running events like this go a little bit quicker in terms of the downtime between games.
Because they're off, like we have right here. We're waiting because of the confusion between the fact that there's multiple links have to be sent to multiple teams.
Right.
Everything would be taken care of in the BattleNet system for the game. So it looks like compLexity has their link now. They've readied up. Maelstrom should be readying up with just a few. I don't know why we have to. Well, they have it. They're readied up. All right, both teams ready to go. We can hop on over to this draft. This is 2 out of 3.
Yes.
Lower bracket finals.
This could be match point for Cloud9 to advance to the finals once more. They have been replacing second place for the last month and a half now to Tempo Storm. They want to break that, so they're
tired of that.
They need to first overcome compLexity, and then bring it back against Tempo. But compLexity, I don't think they're done yet. This is their home territory. They love aggressive maps like this, and that's why we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Okay, no surprise to see the Tassadar banned out. We mentioned that the vision is very strong. Also, if compLexity has plans to run Zeratul once again, last time they were on this map, they did also pick Zeratul, and Tassadar happens to be a great way to deal with Zeratul.
Yeah, it really does.
That Oracle is really, really good. Of course, he's just a difficult hero to snipe and pick off with the Dimensional Shift, the shield, it's instant healing. All of these things really sort of culminate into a hero that is just annoying for Zeratul, excuse me. There's that ban on the Kerrigan. Sort of predicted that might be the case.
And first pick Jaina with very little thought at all. It's going to be Sylvanas for sure, and potentially Kael'thas early. This is a map where Kael'thas is actually ridiculously powerful when it comes to fighting over those turn-in points on the map. He can really just throw out those flame strikes with the flamethrower at level 13, denying the turn-in and applying massive damage.
Just go Johanna Asmo.
Johanna.
Like, so that's the thing. Like, what do you do to counter that? If a team just with their first 2 picks just says no, we want Johanna Asmo, and they take them, is there something? Is that like really showing your hand too early? What are you going to take to deal with that?
True. Nothing.
KT?
Maybe
like you go like KT and I don't know, Rhaegar or something like this. Like, trying to think of like ways to just sort of mitigate that extra poke damage. It doesn't seem like a lot of heroes are able to just sort of stop the stacking, especially on this map. There's too many ways to rotate. Okay, so they're going to deny the Zeratul. We talked about complexity, probably wanted to grab that. Are we going to see the Illidan versus Zeratul battle?
Probably.
Common matchup.
I really do think that we will see McIntyre playing as Illidan on this game, considering Zeratul and Kerrigan have both been selected. The Zeratul is in some way, it's a safe pickup for their fan player, but it's also a denial from McIntyre, because if he's not playing Kerrigan, he really does like to play that Zeratul.
Yep. I don't know if of the games that we have casted, I don't think we've seen him on Illidan. Not yet, at least. We know he plays him a lot.
Maybe once, but yeah, I mean, it definitely hasn't been a common theme, so it's not his favorite. Here in Heroes of the Storm, but complexity, they do have 2 pickups before the next ban phase. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Johanna early. Johanna Abathur, I'd be completely okay with that, or Illidan Abathur.
Yeah, I was thinking Illidan Abathur, but Johanna could be something to take away from complexity. They could also just ban out one of the 2, Johanna or Azmodan, in the second set of bans. We do see the Illidan. It's going to be Illidan
there
Abathur.
It is. All right, Illidan Abathur. Nice, strong pickup here. That just
Maelstrom will ban out Uther?
I think so. I think that it's a forced ban. But they have the first pick, so unless they want it themselves, they could just say, no, you're not going to get Johanna in this game. They kind of dictate the latter half of the draft, considering they have the first ban and then the next 2 picks.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to get Asmodan. I think complexity will take that away. So they should be thinking about that. How can we guarantee we build out the rest of the composition that we know we want?
Yeah, they probably won't ban Johanna, because if they had the potential to grab,
do you think Maelstrom would ban out Johanna? No.
No. I'm saying, yeah, complexity.
Complexity is like, I would say it's like guarantee for them to ban out.
I'm gonna retract and say this probably will be an Uther ban.
Uther, I mean, if they're able to grab like, if complexity rounds their composition out with like Uther Muradin, that's pretty much what they want.
Yeah. Beyond that, I think Cloud9, like you mentioned, I think they would be looking for Asmodan, so complexity should ban that out. And to round out their team, Brightwing would be fine to help deal with Illidan. Muradin would be fine, but Johanna makes more sense. So they could be considering banning out Muradin, since that is a complementary thing to Illidan. But I just think Uther makes more sense.
Taking their time. They're really dipping into this.
Yeah, they got to think about all the scenarios right now. I mean, there's a lot on the line. They're playing against complexity on their home territory, if you will.
Yep. I think it's got to be Uther. Oh, Brightwing. I lied.
Okay. I mean, it's a big support pick. This should just be Asmod, and I would be too surprised if they don't think too hard about it. They've probably run through all the scenarios already, saying, well, if they remove Uther, we'll do this. They remove Brightwing, we'll still do the same thing. And they have to notice that potential, because with Zeratul and Azmodan and Jaina on the opposing side, they're going to throw that globe down late game. Zeratul will blink in and just crush her health pool.
I'm still a little confused by this Brightwing. Ban out Brightwing and take Uther?
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going to do, because with Azmodan being banned, they're going to be like, all right, let's shift our strategy. Let's grab Uther, Kael'thas in this latter half of the draft after they remove Azmodan, and then just completely shift their focus to a slightly different style.
That's fine, but complexity is looking at supports. Which 2 supports would you want to take?
Complexity?
Yeah.
Complexity would rather have Uther.
And?
And?
I'm not saying to pick for like...
Muradin.
No. Sorry. Let me rephrase the question.
Or?
You have... Someone says, like, you can put 1 support or this support. Which 2 supports would you put in?
Uther Rhaegar.
Uther Rhaegar. So why not ban out one of the 2?
Brightwing has global presence, which is a different kind of restriction. And if they do end up with Rhaegar doesn't have Polymorph. And
Yeah,
Rhaegar has less of the reactive defense against Zeratul. Whereas if Zeratul blinks in and there's a poly there, it's a little bit harder. Excuse me. But yeah, they actually just bypass Uther. They prioritize their warrior more, and this should be an Uther pickup on the side of compLexity, which means Dunk Train will be playing as Rhaegar. Or Malf.
Okay. Let's see. What are they going to round this out? I would have said Muradin. It's good that they took that away. Actually, these two picks were probably what they would have finished their composition up with. It's going to be Johanna. Extra damage.
Johanna, that's a really scary composition on the side of
yeah,
both teams,
having
honestly.
those three middle heroes right there.
Both teams these are very nice adaptive drafts, and it is going to be Uther. Should be Rhaegar, but Malf would be fine here too.
So,
it's because scouting drone primarily. They need vision. They need
compLexity's composition is so scary.
It is.
I gotta give them the draft. Doesn't even really matter what Maelstrom gets. Like it's not like there's anything like slipping by here. There's no like blood for bloods, no promotes that are like really scary. Now, just because they won the draft doesn't mean they're necessarily guaranteed to win the game, but there's so many synergies between these heroes. Uther will provide a lot of support for Illidan to go in and do work. Abathur, if it chooses to not go Evolve Monstrosity, if you take the Ultimate Evolution, Illidan and Jaina are both excellent targets. For the symbiote, Illidan is a great target early game, Johanna is a great target early game. But all of those heroes have like some like multiple synergies with the other heroes on the team.
I guess there was a... Okay. We got it fixed.
Malf is the choice.
Malf is the final pick. Again, we talked about the scouting drone being a big part of that.
Might be a big reason for it.
Yeah, scouting drone, healing ward, and just... There's not like a massive amount of burst. There's a lot of sustained damage with Illidan just kind of hitting you a lot. Yeah. And when you throw the Ice Block Tranquility down for your team, it can be very strong. I gotta say, a big part of Cloud9's success is going to be very reliant on not falling behind in the early game to be on even footing when they get to like level 13, and Wailing Arrows. It's going to be so crucial to have big Wailing Arrows in these fights.
Don't forget about VPs too, and getting to that backline too.
But VP Wailing Arrow, that combo.
Oh. Good points. Good points. Also, getting to the backline just put a lot of pressure on Jaina. If that constant threat is there, if just the general combo is executed well, that could be something that really forces not necessarily bad positioning, but overly passive positioning for the Jaina, and that might not be quite able to get into the fights to have that real advantage.
All right, guys. Well, this is game number 2 of the lower bracket finals between Cloud9 and compLexity. On the blue side, it's going to be Cloud9, Maelstrom with K1 Pro, King Caffeine, Dunk Train Fan, and of course, iDream.
Playing on the right side of the map, we do have compLexity. We have in the middle lane, if my computer would stop lagging, Caterpillar is going to be on Johanna. Hans will be on the Abathur. Trummel on Jaina. In the bottom lane, we have Blinks going to be playing Uther. In the top, McIntyre.
So pretty. That like red beard on this tiger. That's actually like the golden tiger, but it's the silver version of it.
So shiny. Look at that.
Such shine.
Great.
Many E. All right now, guys, this is currently 1-0 advantage here for Cloud9. If they win, they will advance to the grand finals against Templestorm, where Templestorm will have a 1-0 advantage over the challenging team in a best-of-5 series.
Scouting drone picked up once again. We can see the Caterpillar has taken that out. Also, Reach grabbed for Uther. We talked about this in one of the previous casts, but it's really got a lot to do with Illidan diving really far into the enemy team composition. If Uther doesn't feel comfortable enough running forward to get within that reach of the heals, Reach does a lot to help that. Situation. Yeah.
All right, and we actually do see pressurized glands, which is a rather interesting pickup. That's going to just give more spike burst for the Abathur.
Usually this tier 1 talent is a bit telling of what kind of build they're going to go for, especially if there's an Illidan or Zeratul. It's oftentimes pressurized glands plus the adrenal overload for just building a lot into the symbiote so that they can have a lot of pressure, especially with those melee heroes.
And the name of the game here on Tomb of the Spider Queen is collect the gems, turn them into some of the web weavers. That's generally why you don't see the teams pushing the lanes out super far. You push your lane out to the enemy team's wall. Yes, you eliminate their ammunition slowly but surely, but at the same time, it becomes a little bit more risky to collect your own gems. So you have to, it's a risk that you have to, weigh the consequences.
Yes, and as you mentioned, the control over the 2 turn-in points is going to be very critical. No team will be able to turn in just yet. We'll take some time before that can happen, but still, making sure that you can deny the enemy team the objective, which, especially if played to its strength properly, can get a lot done. Especially, if we have a turn-in that happens around the 5-minute mark, that can easily translate into a lot of towers being taken. Caterpillar with a bit of pressure, but with the Abathur hat and, of course, the Iron Skin, we'll be able to get to safety.
Yeah, and the damage coming out here onto Uther in the bottom lane. The Abathur hat going to be there to help him, fight off the opposition of iDream and King Caffeine. He will be just fine. Just constantly a struggle over the turn-in.
All right, so we, I have to take a look at this now. Every time we see compLexity with their lineup of heroes that they have, what's going to be that real technical piece of their team fighting that is going to be a big deal? I would say a lot of it will be on Johanna and Illidan. Not Illidan, Jaina. Make sure that those abilities are synced up, especially with the pulls. But on top of that, yeah, Illidan's really just got to get in there and do their work, which, to be fair, that's kind of not really against, but it's not really playing to their strength as a team. It's just like, give stuff to Illidan and he'll do things. Awesome.
It can work, but we talked about this a bit earlier. Once you start to fall behind, if that happens to be the case, it becomes harder and harder to get said work done. And we actually do have that Giant Camp being picked up rather early here by Fan and, of course, King Caffeine. But not going to be able to oppose that with the 3-hero rotation on the side of compLexity.
We'll see if they stick around to try to defend these Giants to get the most value out of them. We do see a lot of teams often just grab the camps and just leave them in a lane just to provide a bit of a distraction. But there's always a lot of value to be had to protect them a little bit, at least force some pressure. And that looks to be what Cloud9 Maelstrom is doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're escorting these Giants, Condemn pulling them a bit closer to the wall, not quite enough, but it is in reach of the, allied heroes of compLexity to throw some skill shots at them. Still, the Giant's going to get a lot of damage done, collect additional gems. Yeah. We do see very low turn-ins thus far, but there is enough on each team. Just about. There we go.
Yeah. I think sub 4 minutes, if you're able to collect those Giants and then stick around long enough to see them take out towers, they'll take it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to play it.
Definitely true. All right, 5-9 still on the turn-in. Both teams going to look to summon their first pack of Web Weavers. It's especially when you think, again, the structural damage that's been done in the bottom lane, quite beneficial because you could then push elsewhere. But Jaina getting hit by that Storm Bolt, the body blocks would be available. We do see the heals here from Uther going to be enough to keep her alive, and that Abathur hat actually signaling a bit of aggression.
Heals, and actually, yes, that is going to be iDream falling down. So they sort of underestimated the capability with the shield from the protective shield from Blinks and also the shield on the Abathur hat. And this could spell a bit of trouble. Fan will be able to blink away. King Caffeine, of course, just has way too much HP to consider getting that gank on him early. But well done turning that around, taking out iDream on Kill Boss.
All right, K1 Pro just going to walk away from Johanna with her Condemn. Even though we did, in fact, see the Kael'thas falling in the bottom lane, the gems were picked up by Muradin. Blinks turning in 17, putting them at just about enough, 44, 6 shy of the first summon of the game.
Okay, we do see the Frost Armor picked up once again. This has been, every once in a while we see this for Jaina, and it reduces the attack damage from the next auto attack that hits her by 75%. This is a big deal, especially against Zeratul, when you're looking to really power up that single auto attack. So that's something that Fan's going to have to keep in mind when he's picking and choosing the right targets to try to blow up.
Wow, okay, so a nice Stormbolt going out, forcing out that first aid. K1 Pro haunting, waving back to base, going to tap the well. Actually, no, that heals from Malf. Oh, going to tap it anyways.
Very passive game thus far, just the one takedown for compLexity in that early game for the overextension on iDream. But the turn-in, this is where we start to see the game pick up pace a little bit. This is for compLexity. So thus far, the small advantages that have been taken, they've been going the way of compLexity.
Yeah, I mean, Cole, they're just a shy bit behind in terms of experience, but that will change rather rapidly with these Web Weavers marching down all 3 lanes. They have a few options. They can just choose one to push with, or they can seek out pickoffs of the opposing side. We'll see how they want to respond here. It looks like they're just going to try to push in all 3 lanes, trying to maximize the experience. Even, okay, they got
also,
the bruisers too.
Taking a set of bruisers to help push out this middle lane. But honestly, by the time they get there, the timing was not really ideal. If they've already lost the Web Weavers, they're going to have to focus their attention elsewhere where they don't have that mercenary camp pushing.
Credit to Cloud9 for responding accordingly, though. They saw that was happening, and they just took out that middle web.
There were 2 options. Get aggressive to try to deny the bruisers, very risky play, or just be aggressive in the middle lane. You know they're missing a big part of their damage output, which is going to be the Illidan Abathur. And take out that Web Weaver quickly, and you know you don't have to worry about so much that heavy pressure.
All right, well, that bottom Web Weaver is going to fall very shortly, but the wall has been taken care of, but the superior soak has been here for Cloud9. As a result, Cloud9 is actually up in experience after that full, push coming out of the Web Weavers, and both teams will be hitting just about the same time those level 10 heroics.
But here's the thing, 93 gems for Cloud9.
They can lose them.
They can lose them, of course, and we're going to see Blinks. Caterpillar likely looking to try to stall this as long as possible. I think that's enough to turn in. Yes, it is. They will have it.
Oh, nice. Just securing that turn in. And yeah, they now have dropped off 50 of those gems, 54 still in their
I like this so
pockets.
much more. Rotate to the bottom and take the Giants. It's something that's at range, and you know that you can put a lot of pressure into the bottom lane. But compLexity is well aware of this. King Caffeine looking to try to stall long enough. It's not going to be there.
Oh, no, not the right timing with that Wailing Arrow, because Void Prison did, in fact, go down. Haunting Wave will get Sylvanas out of this, but Kael'thas fell, and it looks like Murden just barely having that Dwarf Toss in time, but Hans doesn't want to let him get out.
Yeah, of course, that is the clone to a double Illidan, and we talked about the potential for the ultimate evolution to get a lot of use. I don't think Dunk Train should end up falling.
Nice root, but the Condemn is there and forcing he's going to go down!
Wow. What a strong start to the team fighting right as soon as level 10 was hit. We thought that was a great play.
Oh, that's a lot of gems taken out. Nice play by Fan.
42, yes. Blinks will be able to go back and scoop them. I don't think that should be an overextension. Yeah, you can see Caterpillar is just sort of hanging back just a little bit to make sure that they with the rotation Fan. K1 Pro. They really want to punish this. They don't want those gems going away uncontested.
Oh, the body blocks onto Blinks. He is going to fall from that living bomb, and that is a big takedown. The gems now being collected by Trouble and Caterpillar. So, even though they didn't manage to get the gems, they did get another takedown, and the Web Weaver still marching in the top and middle lane.
Yeah, all this while, we have these two sets of Web Weavers pushing down. I don't think they're going to be able to take any forts down, especially with Abathur defending in the top one. So, all of a sudden, the game picks up pace quite a bit. 4 takedowns to 2. I guess it's not that exciting, but the way in which those fights sort of transpired were pretty cool.
That was pretty cool, and we do see that the gems are now 60 in the pockets of Cloud9. They do, in fact, have enough for a turn-in.
Yeah, both teams do.
74 for, compLexity. And compLexity is already in position, 27 going in, and that's
they're basically trading Giant. They're trading Bruisers for a turn-in.
Oh, iDream! You're going to get stalled out with the aggression of Illidan. Might actually get picked off. The Blessed Shield didn't go out. Condemn, pulling them on in. Roots trying to buy time, but McIntyre is not worried about that. He's got Abby Hat, and he's ready.
Care. He does not care, man. He just keeps going in, past all the silence being thrown down in the last second. That will secure the takedown. And the big thing about having McIntyre falling behind the gate is there's no way to go back and get those gems. Not the most amount of gems, of course. They were able to just get this turn in. Ended up trading out, what, a 2-for-1? Not bad, all things considered. 2 for 1, but the Web Weavers are here and they need to respond. Now the bottom lane completely pushed out in favor of Cloud9. Tapping the well is K1 Pro right now, but his mana is already pretty low. Okay, continuing to push in. The bottom wave will be staggered a bit back. Probably won't be able to take out the fort on its own, and iDream looking, especially with this Phoenix, to try to stall this out. So all the attention is going to be thrown to the middle lane. Yeah, they need to eliminate these Web Weavers, keep that fort alive to the best of their ability. This is a big wave here. K1 Pro able to manage it relatively well with his team. Handle it. They got it. Okay. Again, just this last one, the bottom lane. I said that they wouldn't be able to get this uncontested. I lied to you guys. Yeah, they managed to take out that bottom fort. Nicely done. King Caffeine having to Dwarf Toss over the wall with the threat of the opposing side. Kael'thas not with his team right now. Okay, experience advantage, not really too significant for either team, just a bit ahead for compLexity. Now they find themselves only with the 23 gems. At this point, it's called a Maelstrom that's looking to turn in. Only missing that one fort. I'd say overall it's a fairly even game. Yeah, it's like quite even right now, but the one thing we do have to constantly remember is that the gem count right now is in favor of Cloud9 since they haven't had that second turn in. And experience, pretty even considering. But they're just going to continue rotating in here. Fan is going to be looking to try to get that turn as much as possible. So this is the times where we're always hyping up the vision on this map, and this is why. If compLexity needs to not really have to leave heroes back by the turn-in spots just to see if they're going to get those turn-ins. A great route. Yep. Yeah.
The root just bought them the time they needed. McIntyre trouble, not really looking to leave here. Going straight for K1 Pro. Haunting Wave going to have to go out, getting him back towards that wall. Dwarf tossing away. This very aggressive posture out of compLexity. They want to bring the fight to them.
That's the name of the game for compLexity. It's how they play. They play very aggressive, very explosive style, taking advantages in places that you would not expect, especially team fight wise. It's sort of akin to what Tempostorm does after winning team fights, right? Where they just sort of dive in, they take off that small portion of the wall and go in. It's like, oh, I did not at all think that they would be able to end the game there. And it feels sometimes like compLexity is able to do just that with team fights.
Yeah, compLexity managing to hold on to a bit of an experienced lead. King Caffeine stepping on that mine. Scouting drones coming out here from Dunk Train. And if the Wailing Arrow comes out, this could be spell disaster. But no, there is that Metamorphosis not going to be saving onto that Wailing Arrow for the time being if he overcommits.
Oh, I think that should back up. This does not look like it will end. Okay, the silence missing. That's pretty unfortunate. Maybe now they can turn this around. But with the Metamorphosis missing so many members of the enemy team, I think they should just take this 4. Anything else might be an overextension.
And Hans is getting very low Storm Bolt, but that is just, of course, an Abathur clone, so that will end up falling. But yeah, unfortunate to see that Wailing Arrow go off when the Void Prison had just secured so many members inside.
That could have turned things around quite a bit. So a bit of miscommunication between Fan and K1 Pro.
Yeah,
didn't lose a whole lot for it, but now their ability to sort of counter-initiate.
They could have just won a big fight.
Yeah,
right? that would be the opposition if they had landed that combination. Well, they could have taken out 3 to 4 more members, but they do get the turn in safely after removing that Abathur clone, and they're not in a bad spot at all. Going to catch up towards level 16 with the help of these Web Weavers.
Yeah, not taking any of the aggressive mercenary camps. Maybe the Giants could have been scooped up. They didn't feel comfortable enough doing that. Again, level lead still hasn't changed too much. Of course, there weren't any takedowns exchanged in that last scuffle, but level 16 quite close for compLexity. But what does that mean for them?
Well, it means a lot more power, especially with the Numbing Blast on Jaina. When that Zeratul blinks in, it's going to be very difficult if she does go for Numbing Blast because he will be locked in place, and that'll put him in such a bad spot.
Yes, also the Benediction for Uther, that's going to provide quite a bit more stun. So you're right, there's a potential for a lot higher risk for Zeratul. He's going to have to pick and choose those fights, make sure that those heroes are not too close by. But honestly, especially Jaina, that's one of the heroes you need to make sure you're trying to take down. With the Frost Armor and the Numbing Blast, could get quite scary.
All right, this bottom 4, it's going to put them very close to level 16. That's exactly what they want. Not quite there yet. Fan having to blink away, dodging the Blessed Shield. That would have been devastating if it did connect.
Yes. Short cooldown on that heroic, especially with battle momentum. Should be back up fairly soon.
All right, scouting drones just being laid across this middle area. They just want to make sure they're safe. They're going to start on these bruisers, which will allow them to hit 16. They'll probably even get it before then because of the soak in the top lane. But right now, I mean, they don't want to fight. Yes, there is 16.
Yep. compLexity with they have small timing windows where they have advantages for team fights, so they're showing their patience. Saying we don't want to overextend at these points, but Caterpillar, has he overextended? Oh, the Iron Skin was just enough duration. Yeah. It's a whole 4 seconds. It's an eternity in this game.
And Bakubi Ignite here. Tenacious Roots has made it into the game. We do have the double bomb. The burst potential very much higher on the side of Cloud9 at this point in time. This is what they've been waiting for the whole game.
A lot of gems. It's a high amount of risk for both of these warriors to be out, more so than they would usually have. Night takes Pawn looking just to try to take out some of these Merc camps before these battles happen. Who has the advantage at this point? Hard to say.
I mean, structurally, it's definitely in favor of compLexity. They've been a little bit more aggressive across them. Actually, it's pretty even, all things considered. But when it comes to team fight capability, if they can land those big Void Prisons to line up for the Wailing Arrow and the Flame Strike combo, it's definitely going to look quite nice for Cloud9.
Yeah, so do we have Fan in a position to try to lock this out? Try to grab a huge amount of members with those VPs. He's going in.
And the VP is locking out 2 members. We see Divine Shield was used. They drop the VP. Wailing Arrow this time connecting onto once more, but they're a bit disorganized. K1 Pro will fall rather early in that fight, and Hans and McIntyre just dashing forward.
Yeah, over the wall. McIntyre, I think that's probably his cue to back up. I would say that just the VP was good. They hit him few members. I think one of them actually was the Abathur clone, so probably not as much value as you could have hoped. But still, the follow-up wasn't there. They got the silence, but you need to dive onto those heroes to try to follow that up. Yeah. And it was just sort of a bit of split positioning. We saw a few members of Cloud9 Maelstrom were sort of on the top side, a few on the south side, and they weren't able to sort of collapse on that point.
Yeah, these flame strikes are starting to do devastating damage. That Phoenix blink in from Zeratul, really just forcing McIntyre back, and they're going to have to, you know, remove themselves from this point. Still about 10. Oh my goodness, Jaina did end up getting picked off. Not sure. I guess it was Fan that did it, but I missed it.
Yeah, is this once again Cloud9 Maelstrom just really showing their dominance in the late game fights.
Oh.
You know, this happened last game too. compLexity looked great from like levels 10 to 16. They had very convincing showings in the team fights, and then all of a sudden Maelstrom takes two really strong fights and they win the game.
I gotta be a little bit strict here though, and just say that that was a blunder. Cloud9 allowing compLexity to turn in. They kind of had control on the center. They took their eyes off the edge of the top turn-in. They had the scouting drone. They thought they were safe, but it does not cover all vision. And we did have the turn-in go in favor of compLexity. And this is going to give them a lot of edge. They already have a slight lead in experience. And
here's the problem, though, and it's the fact that they have the web weavers are actually staggered at this point.
Yeah.
And the middle lane was quite a bit further forward than the other two, and this really, you have to make sure that all of the lanes are pushing equally. And it can be a difficult thing to do, especially considering the other team is always trying to stop you from turning in. You can't really choose the exact moment that the web weavers are pushing forward. But let's really take a step back and figure out how much damage, how much impact did this objective really have.
Well, so far not a lot, but the top and bottom web weavers still here. Fan battling it out with that Abathur clone. Once Hans loses that, well, that's going to be a nice situation here for Cloud9, but the hat on Illidan is still a very formidable thing.
You know what? That provided enough of a distraction. That's really what it's doing. I was hyping up this whole thing. I'm like, oh yeah, this objective is terrible. They were able to get a fort out of it. Yeah. And especially because Hans is just sitting out there pulling away so many of the members from defending against that fort.
And this back keep wall, I mean, this web weaver has marched on in. Yes, it will fall, but 650 experience going the way from that one tower falling. And look at the positioning here on compLexity. They really want to push the issue.
Yep. And why not? They have the advantage right now. They're well on their way to level 20. Not going to do anything too crazy. They'll probably start to take those aggressive positions once they have those storm talents.
Only 12 needed to turn in here for Cloud9. They're going to collect these bruisers. That'll give them a bit of an opening. 42 gems will be turned in as soon as humanly possible.
Yes. Maelstrom needs to get control back over those turn-in points. Caterpillar looking to turn his 11. They don't quite have enough compLexity to get their next set of turns. This will be their fourth?
I believe so, yes. All right, well, they want to fight before 20. Cloud9 cannot let them get that level 20 before turning in these web weavers, because that will just become a really, really nasty situation for them fighting against those storm talents. Those 12 are exactly what they need. King Caffeine is going to be very adamant about getting that turn in, and it looks like he's actually going to be successful in doing so with those nice roots.
Caterpillar taking just a bit of poke damage. Again, it's got a lot to do with the roots, the tenacious roots, also flamethrower, ignite, all of those things put together. Constantly just poking away at your warrior. They have high HP pools, you know, amplified healing in this case as well, Holy Rule, but it will chip away over time, and it's something that kind of forces them back. They have to, you know, continue hearthing back. Just great ways to just force positioning with these heroes.
Yeah, it certainly is, but this mid-pack of web weaver is not going to last all too long. Like you mentioned, the last summon a little bit too far forward, especially with bruisers there to contest them. Going to fall rather quickly. Cloud9 really needs to hit level 20. Being down those storm talents, this is a really harsh situation. Yep.
Have eyes on Zeratul just for the moment. They're really looking to clean up this web weaver push forward. And again, this is another thing where it's like they weren't able to get enough out of these objectives. Yeah. Again, it's difficult. Like it's so hard even just to get the turn in uncontested, and trying to set up to make sure that the waves are pushing out evenly to provide enough of a distraction. It's not easy to do.
And at this point in the game, we're 20 minutes in. A single team fight could end the game on either side. Not that the keeps are really exposed yet, but if it was an aggressive team fight with a convincing win, you could just see them go through the wall, take out the keep, and potentially go for the core.
All right, level 20. They need it. Maelstrom's looking to try to get all that soak as possible. Hear those Atari noises again? I don't know. Do we have that Kael'thas?
Is it Pajamathur?
No, it's not that Kael'thas. I don't know what it is. Something's making this like weird bleepy noise. Is it Gems? It's not Gems. I don't know.
No, it's not Gems. It's definitely a talent. Or a trait or a passive or something. McIntyre Gonna get that heal, Caterpillar, gonna throw out that Blessed Shield, but the Wailing Arrow is not gonna be enough with beautiful Void Prism, but again, it's just saving them from that Phoenix's damage.
Yeah, they still have a lot of HP collectively throughout the members of the team, and that is just the Avatar clone
Hans,
getting
yes,
taken out.
The clone, they're not too worried about that, but they're worried about the lack of their Zeratul, and it looks like they're gonna try to force a fight by getting this boss. Now, level 20 has been reached. Rewind, bolt.
Still have the Divine Shield. Johanna still has Indestructible available, yes. So a lot more HP available to the team than what Cloud9 Maelstrom has.
Oh my gosh!
Does he get the root? Oh, the gravity lapse is almost
so
enough.
Close. But this is still a fight that they can push the issue on. The heals are coming out. We see just a blind Flame Strike being thrown, not connecting with anyone, trying to get that. Again, you have that front line with King Caffeine. Those Flame Strikes hitting the back line again. Aggressive bolt from Trumbull will lock down that Furion. King Caffeine is now in a tough spot. Cloud9, they're falling apart, Kubi.
Oh, but hold on a second. Yes, we see that Johanna is actually quite low. Murd for King Caffeine. Is he going to be able to get
no!
The Dwarf Toss, not quite enough to get over the wall.
Misclick.
Taking some more advantage. They will be able to back up, I think at the very least, and take this goal. The fans back up. iDream's here. K1 Pro, there's a lot of damage output. Caterpillar is the overextend. Does still have the Indestructible. He will be able to stay alive in that sense, but they'd love to bait that out. It's a fairly long cooldown.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, there it is. Okay, Zeratul does blink in, then gonna use the wormhole to get out. But
is it too much?
Yes, they use the Wailing Arrow to try to peel. Fan is gonna fall to that Metamorphosis. Not even needed. The Water Elemental, wailing away, the Wailing, Haunting Wave, both of the Storm used. iDream, K1 Pro, last two standing. And you know what?
For the fourth time, I think compLexity's looking to try to get this going again. And a lot of that also came down to, yes, the boss got leashed, but McIntyre was constantly wailing away with the auto attacks. And his trait, every time he's hitting, he's reducing the cooldown. That's why we were able to see those two Metamorphoses used so close together. I mean, this ability has a 120-second cooldown, and it's already down to 60.
So, although Cloud9 will be up again soon, they're going to have Web Weavers and a boss to defend. They haven't lost a keep quite yet. Ping happening here on these guys. They're going to end up fading away. I think they're just going to escort this boss with the Web Weavers for a death push.
Great timing to get these Web Weavers forward. I mean, they're pretty much going to have to ignore the bottom lane and just count that as a loss. But pushing forward with Web Weavers and a boss in the top lane, they have two choices. They can split push in the mid lane or try to assist this push as well and try to get as much damage as possible, even though they're facing up against all the members of Cloud9 Maelstrom defending.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to wail away the boss, but these big blasts coming out, they do massive damage. You see, iDream took about 10% of his health from that alone. And the mana going in, they went straight for Kael'thas, eliminating him very quickly. Void Prison trying to buy time, but it's not going to be enough. This keep is going to fall.
Okay, it does just translate into a victory with one of their large damage dealers taken out. King Caffeine, I think the duration on Avatar should be running out just shortly. Still a lot of HP on this boss. Still have the Web Weavers pushing forward. I think they might actually have the opportunity to do this.
Illidan will end up falling. A nice defense, but look at the health bar on that core. It is falling. Caterpillar getting pushed by the winds is not too worried. The boss still having about 10% health. Looks like we're going to game number 3.
Well done. Well done to compLexity to be able to continue to just put a lot of pressure on, catching people out of position all over the place. Good Johanna play, a lot of control in those team fights. Overall, I'd say everyone just played really well. Hans with the Avatar clones always seemed to be in the right spot, distracting just enough. Good stuff. That
was a very good game. And the hyper we get, the more hype Corey's cat gets. She is actually just doing backflips through the house.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to go check on her to make sure that she's all right. She, like, pretty much did a headbutt into the back of the couch, like a flying headbutt. That's like, I'm sure you saw me just go like, whoa, like, what was that? Like, I got startled. She actually just, like, leaped into the backside of the couch and just went boof and just, like, fell over. Like, so I'm going to have to go check to make sure the cat's all right.
We're going to go confirm that the cat is
still
sane and alive.
Yeah. Okay, we'll be back in just a few, guys, with game number 3.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die, looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just find me, just find me. Sparks will fly if we scream no. This is not how we're gonna go. We are the ones who never let go. 'Cause what you're strong to lose will never hanging by a thread, hung upon all the words you said, breaking free from this conformity that you force on me. Everything I do is one big show. It's about damn time that I take control. Put me under a microscope and watch me take control. What's this? I finally read this helplessness. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down, so I'm gonna turn it all around. And and dear God, save my soul, 'cause it is flawed. Tired of feeling like I'm And don't tell me that I need saving. Finally awake and living. Yeah, yeah. The pressure inside was building. I felt under attack. And now my mind's attacked. And I've chosen my path. I've chosen my path. What's this? I finally read this helplessness. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down. So I'm gonna turn it all around. And and dear God, save my soul, 'cause it is not. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down. So I'm gonna turn it all around. Upside down. Upside down. Gonna turn it all upside down. In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Alrighty, guys, we are back here for game number 3 of the lower bracket finals here in the Team Liquid Super Brawl with Solid Jake and Kubi.
That's me.
Where are we going?
We're going to Sky Temple for game number 3.
I'm gonna go to like McDonald's or something right now. I'm so hungry.
What
So
does that have to do with Sky Temple?
It has to do with my belly.
Oh boy, here we go. We got a draft link. That's a good start.
Yeah, it's a decent start, man.
Got to corral these guys to get a lobby going sometimes. Jeez, it's brutal. Rough life of the caster.
Well, after, this much on the line, sometimes you got to sit back and discuss with your team, rally together, and pretty sure that's exactly what we had happen. That they just wanted to strategize, say, hey, why do we lose that game? Let's bounce back here in the final match because they want to face Tempestorm in those grand finals.
Both teams do. They want that second place. It's a big prize pool jump. $500, $750 per second, $1,000 for first. Seeding points, like you mentioned, 80 points going to the first place team, 55 to the second.
Money,
I
points.
keep this is the
glory.
part. I keep mentioning this. I'm like, I should check to see what the third and fourth place seeding points is.
Doesn't matter.
And I don't have a monitor. I can't do it. Yeah.
All right, boys. We are now going into the draft here for the third and final game of this lower bracket finals. Again, the winner will advance to face Tempestorm in a best-of-5 series where Tempestorm will start at 1-0. First ban, Kubi.
Abathur. That's usually a second ban kind of thing, where first team will ban out something that isn't Abathur, Illidan, or Zeratul.
I think they're forcing. I think they're trying to force a ban on Zeratul or Illidan, and so they can pick whatever isn't banned.
Well, I think compLexity will ban neither of those.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, Jake. They say, okay, you get one of those, you're either going to get yourself Zeratul or Illidan. We want one of those as well. And if we ban one, we're securing that we won't get one. So compLexity has shown that any opportunities they can get for McIntyre to be on one of those three prominent melee assassins, they will take those opportunities.
You're right. Jaina is banned.
And I think, yeah, it makes a lot of sense for Jaina to be banned out. Who else could it have been? I don't know.
I think I actually prefer Cloud9 picking Sylvanas first now that this is an opportunity. Because I really do not like seeing Illidan and Zeratul on the same team. I don't think it has a lot of synergy. So yeah, there's Sylvanas. This is going to be Kerrigan.
I think compLexity should have banned out Asmodee. Ban out Asmodee. Like, you know that their Cloud9's going to probably try to build into it at some point. Yeah. Both teams can very easily run Jaina. It's like if you know you're going to try to be taking that away from them at some point.
Oh, it is going to be Illidan. Okay. Tassadar Illidan, a very safe start to this draft.
Sure.
Cloud9 Maelstrom gets 2 more picks before the secondary bans do come out. Looking at what is available, I would like Kael'thas once more.
Could be Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings would work as well.
Always gotta they're sort of like the wild card, right? They always like pop up right. It's like, oh yeah, the Vikings.
Or Zeratul.
Didn't think about that. Yeah, no, Zeratul is something that is a strong pick as well. Cloud9 Maelstrom would like to put Fan on a melee assassin as well. Sort of the counterpart to McIntyre on compLexity. There it is.
There he is. Zera.
VP plus Wailing Arrow. Communication wasn't quite there. I'm sure they'll be looking to fix that in this game.
They bungled it once or twice, but they definitely landed it a few times as well. Yeah, I like Kael'thas here, but they could also just prioritize Muradin or something that is good against someone like Illidan. I think that would not be a bad call whatsoever.
I kind of feel like they're going to take their support. Brightwing.
Yeah, Dunk hasn't played a lot of Brightwing today because he hasn't had the opportunity to.
Yeah, the times that he does get to play it, I think it's because they go into this third pick right here and take Brightwing. It's very likely if Brightwing isn't picked up or their support isn't grabbed, that
there she is.
compLexity would look to try to ban out one of the two. There probably will be support bans, and maybe from Maelstrom as well. No indication that they're going for Johanna Asmodee, but if they let it through this part of the draft, they will take it.
Yes, they certainly will.
I think they should ban one of the two here.
Johanna or Muradin?
Asmodee.
Asmodee, you're right.
We will see. We will see. Kerrigan is probably going to be a non-factor in this matchup, considering Illidan is already...
Yeah, I can't imagine Kerrigan being played in this game. It's like not out of the question, but I just don't like it. There's just double melee assassin can often be a bit messy in terms of self body blocking on your team. It's just a lot, especially in all of these tight corridors. It just doesn't have the same kind of synergy that does exist with having a ranged assassin.
Also, a lot for the support to keep up with.
That's a big point. Yeah, that's very true.
And if there's two heroes that dive in, they need to have that invincibility or huge burst heal with Rhaegar or whatever it may be.
There's the Asmo ban.
Maelstrom.
See what he did there?
There's the Asmo ban. No, I don't see what you did there. What is
Okay.
it?
Asmodan, Asmoban.
Oh, wow.
Wait.
Sure, yeah, good one, buddy. Cloud9, what do they
Kubi.
take away?
We're in,
Uther?
we're in our 9th hour of this cast.
We are. Going in.
Helladis.
Going in. I think it's going to be an Uther ban from Maelstrom.
Could be. Probably. Definitely. Can't imagine being anything else. It's got to be.
I've been noticing that Maelstrom has been taking probably more time on this second ban than any other phase of the draft. With that exception. But especially last game, they spent a lot of time there. All right, complexity. What do they want to throw into the rest of their composition? So, no warrior has been picked up on the Maelstrom side. I think taking Muradin away is good. And going for the support, they're going to take Rhaegar. I don't see Maelstrom also grabbing a double support. So they should go Illidan. I mean, they already have Illidan. They should take Muradin. What else to go with it? Whatever damage they're looking to try to wrap this up with. Maybe Falstad?
Yeah, I would be cool with Falstad.
Muradin Falstad?
Johanna would be fine.
Yeah, I think it's more of a denial. Like, Maelstrom doesn't really have a reason to take Johanna without Asmodan, so they will take Muradin over Johanna in the sense that it deals with Illidan better. So complexity should deny it, because, again, to complexity it doesn't really matter either. Both those warriors are very good, so they take Muradin. They don't have to worry so much about the support, so they will take Falstad.
Anyways, sorry, chat was just making me giggle, and I am a terrible person for rating it during the draft. So, yes, let's look at the beards. It's going to be Falstad and Muradin. Should be Johanna and Kael'thas as the final 2 pickups for Cloud9 Maelstrom. What else could they do?
No, I think that's fine.
Vikings are still on the table if they did want to go that route.
This is true. Actually, yes, they have Sylvanas. We did this again. Like, we mentioned it early part of the draft.
Yeah.
Like, all right, they got Sylvanas. Vikings on the table. It's a large map. Vikings are decent on this map. So they could absolutely go Johanna Vikings. Not really the greatest amount of synergy between all those heroes. It's not bad, but Vikings are just really strong on the map.
Evergreen Troll with a $50 donation, my friend. Thank you very much for your support. That'll actually go towards the Town Hall Invitational. Thanks, man.
That will be happening.
Massive supporter. He's actually donated far more than anyone else, so I appreciate. He acts like to Heroes community in general.
Yeah,
so thanks so
he
much.
has.
The dates will be announced for that Town Hall Invitational.
Okay, I didn't know
on
if we had-
Tuesday or Wednesday this week during
Okay.
Town Hall.
All right, very good.
We will announce it then. All right, we'll leave the last 2 picks on 50 seconds of their bonus pool. There is Jojo Johanna.
Never get the song right.
Can you sing it for me?
Johanna,
Johanna.
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 There you go. He'll get it. One of these days, he'll get
Lion
it.
King,
He'll get
man.
it cold style.
Cold style.
Maelstrom, yes, so we predicted that Johanna would be the grab, and we were saying Kael'thas. I think that makes the most sense. What else could they go? I mean, if it was like Temple Storm, I'd say they're going to go Zagara, maybe. Meta is very tight between these teams. Not to say that their picks are necessarily predictable, but the hero pool that they jump to, that they lean on, they know the heroes they like. They know what they're comfortable running. They know the synergies they like. And from that perspective, they tend to get these strong drafts.
They certainly do.
Complexity.
Malfi.
Uther.
Malfi.
Uther.
Uther is banned. So
Ah!
it's going to be very good.
Oh, geez, I've been saying Uther the whole time. Oh, God, fail.
Yeah.
Super fail.
Yep.
Rhaegar. Okay. I mean,
Great.
sure. Whatever. You got me this time. Draft. You got me this
Giraffe. It's like a giraffe draft. Can someone illustrate this giraffe, please? I have no idea how you're going to do it. I just want you to have.
I don't think that's possible.
I'm going to be headset off for a second. I'm going to untangle my headset. So just take it away, Kubi.
Take it away, Kubi. Just throws this at me. We'll let the team know that they are ready to go. So we're going to be hopping into Sky Temple. No Vikings. Mobility on either side for Brightwing and Falstad. What else is going to be a large factor, considering the map?
Hey, I'm back, guys. We're
Whoa.
going to be going to game number 3 here on the Sky Temple.
Just keeps going into these voices.
And here it's going to be Cloud9 and Maelstrom versus complexity. One game will be victorious to advance versus.
One game will be victorious. It's like you're so focused on doing the accent that you actually just put garbage out of your mouth. Like,
And,
none of it makes any sense or is at all impactful.
They'll be advancing to face the team Tempo Storm.
The team Tempo Storm.
We are attempting to join this game here.
Attempting.
Let us rejoice and watch this beautiful bird named Falsehead. Trommel will be playing his graciousness. Hans on the Mecha Tassadar. Blinks here on the the Rhaegar. McIntyre rounding out the team with, of course, Caterpillar.
On the right side of the map is Cloud9 Maelstrom. Playing for them, we have King Caffeine on Johanna. Junk Train is going to be on Brightwing K1 Pro. Playing the Sylvanas. iDream on Kael'thas once again, and Fan also once again on Zeratul.
All right, boys. Well, it is time for us to commence this game. 3, 2, 1. The gates are open, and let's go back to a normal voice.
Thanks, Jake.
So
Doing the viewers a real favor.
gotta keep it interesting. All right, so can we have a Town Hall musical episode? No, Manic. Yes, the answer is yes. As I tell you new. Kubi, let's look at some of these talents. Colossal Totem picked up the updraft here for Falstad. Gonna go with the Shadow Shield, the Psi Fusion, and the Perfect Storm.
Was it Blinks that was running the Totem? Or was that the plays? I think it was the plays that was running. Okay. It wasn't Blinks. We do have the Psi Fusion. Yeah. Perfect Storm.
Donkus is gonna get dunked. Not quite. Gonna stay alive today. McIntyre with that aggression gonna take out this bottom. Scouting drone just nicely done, just providing very heavy damage early in the game.
Yeah, it looks as though McIntyre is trying to get as many aggressive rotations as he can. Looking to put pressure on these heroes, and we see an appropriate rotation from Cloud9 Maelstrom to the bottom line. A lot on the line for this game. We talked about this $500 at least going to the winning team. They will get the chance to go up against Tempo Storm in the grand finals, where they sit in a best-of-5 with a 1-0 advantage. Also the seeding points. A lot, and you know, for compLexity especially, they've got something to prove here.
They do.
They really do.
They want to say, hey, we are still that #2 team. Or #1.
Or #1.
That's what they want.
Of course they want to be able to say, any team in the NA competitive scene would love to be able to say that. I don't think one tournament victory at this point would prove that, but it would put them well on their way to establishing that.
Yes, and that's a title they once held. They wanted back dearly, but compLexity, they've only had one big tournament victory in their history. It was the first Titan Arena, if I'm not mistaken, the only big event that they ever won. They did go undefeated in the Season 1 of the ESL Major League, but ended up placing fourth when we got to the fourth, which is last, when we got to playoffs.
I'd say it's 4th out of 8th. I mean, you
Well,
get into
only 4 teams make it to
playoffs.
playoffs. So
Yeah, I mean,
when they
get
got
in
to that
still.
bracket, they
Still an accomplishment even just to make it to the playoffs.
still top 3 here from for the June NA Open.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And
especially
here they are.
considering their placements up until that point over the past month. That was a nice adjustment, and you know, it seems as though they're playing better. They've made some adjustments to their roster. They threw Hans in there, maybe off to a rocky start after having added him in, but I got to give credit to him and the rest of the team. They've been playing a lot more solidly as of late, and the results are showing.
All right, well, chat tells me Arena Lords suck, so apparently I can't say the gates are open anymore.
Oh, wow. That's it?
That's it.
That's it. You're
That's
done.
it. It's done. All right, Fan is actually very far forward here. Again, he has that stealth. Colossal Totem is revealing him, so they are well aware that he's in the vicinity. K1 Pro, iDream, both in the area, and if they can lock down a single hero, you know they will do just that.
Okay, promote available on either side for Brightwing and Tassadar, as you might expect. And Venom for Sylvanas. Standard focused attack style build for Zeratul. Not seeing a whole lot. That is sort of out of the norm.
True.
Other powers. I was going to talk a little bit about the Sledgehammer build for Muradin. They don't seem to be prioritizing too much dealing with Zeratul. Let's take that away. So again, that comes to a preference style thing where they're going for that Perfect Storm Sledgehammer. Maybe because they realize there's that heavy emphasis. Oh, Mac, you are out of position, my friend. And no trouble! Okay, he does have the updraft as well. Is able to get a little further away. Wow. Just a little bit short.
That's
okay, hold on. He does not have the ability to get out of here unless it's an overextend. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Fan.
So he will get away, but man, that was very nicely done by Cloud9, just going aggressively, not only stealing the bruisers, but they took out a single hero, removing Illidan from that fight, giving them a slight edge on the experience and just momentum in this game.
Yes, and of course that is going to set them up fairly well to provide that nice distraction. They can also rotate back up, take their own bruisers. If the timing is right, they should go to do it now. Okay, it's actually a bit late to go to try to attempt to do that. They want to have control over this bottom temple. Both teams do, of course. This is the objective of the map, and it pushes out quite hard as it would. As it were.
As it were. All right, so there is a single mule in this game. Tassadar did end up picking that talent up. We saw the top fort was quite low, but no longer the case. It will heal up rather rapidly.
That's actually a big deal. It's probably the first time on this map in particular that we have seen only one team
have a mule today.
Have a mule compared. Sometimes it's none, but it's very rarely just one team. And the other.
Singularity Spike still on cooldown. The first aid will keep McIntyre alive, but the bottom temple is being contested here by Cloud9, having Johanna sit there alone. They did bully back Illidan top lane, still being contested by Caterpillar, which is kind of a positional advantage for Cloud9.
Not just that, K1 Pro actually doing a great job zoning off of this, just buying so much time for Caffeine to just sit on the temple and just soak up those shots. Even if they were to invade at this point in time, it's not worth.
It's not worth the final shots. Are they going to get it? I don't think so. The mule will heal it up just barely enough.
Oh, yeah. That's actually very important. We may see some type of rotation from Cloud9. They need that to really secure that advantage to go to level 10.
They want these forts. They really do. I mean, yeah, if they can get a few towers, it's going to help push them forward a little bit more. But that fort would have been a much bigger deal.
And the mule, it's doing work. It's getting that damage in. I think that right now would be sitting with Cloud9 Maelstrom just about level 10. And that would give them a good window of opportunity to try to bully around the map, maybe even take the aggressive Giants. There's so many more options available for Maelstrom if they had that advantage.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, they're just kind of split pushing, promote here in the top lane, of course, with Brightwing, just using that. Currently, we have Kale Foss, Zeratul, and K1 Pro on Sylvanas working on these bruisers. That'll give them a bit of presence on the map, but level 10 has been achieved by both teams.
Do we have anything interesting? Nothing. Jake, nothing is interesting about these heroic picks. It's pretty standard.
I think that the Tari sound, I think that's a scouting drone.
Is it?
I think so.
You figured it out?
I think so.
So let's take a look at what the potential is for either side. Over for Cloud9 Maelstrom, again, it's all about that VP, and if they're able to hit it into a nice Wailing Arrow, Blessed Shield, with a Phoenix on top of that, that's serious damage.
Yeah.
Very, very serious damage.
Nice blink kill going out for Dunction to get out of harm's way. But yeah, you were talking about the serious damage. Same kind of setup that we had in the last game, but now Blessed Shield and Condemn thrown on top of that.
Yeah, that's really what's going to really lock everyone in place immediately after, so as long as the timing, the follow-up is there. Now, on the other side of the coin, there's a lot of pressure on Illidan, but in a different way in terms of how he approaches. He doesn't have quite that instant cast ability. Metamorphosis is always going to have a lot of value. Hans needs to make use of that. Does he have the shield off cooldown? That's going to be a big deal. I think he's done.
Yep, Living Bomb and the dagger will end up getting that takedown.
Blinks, not quite close enough to be able to get the heal, just barely out of time. And with these temples spawning, another 15 seconds before Hans is up. They want to take this fort down, retreat back to the temples so they can get more of an advantage, maybe even take out the mid fort.
This is a big deal. They get a takedown, they get a fort. Yeah. The mule is going to be on cooldown for a full minute, so it can't defend that middle keep, or middle fort, excuse me. And you know what, Cloud9, this is, we have a level lead on you. You have a hero down, not in position yet. We're going to rotate up to the middle of the map and fight you there.
Missing, of course, their warrior. King Caffeine will be sitting on the bottom temple. Yeah, for the time being. I actually don't think they're going to get too aggressive. They're willing to trade out.
But yeah, grabbing the Giants here. I mean, they're soaking multiple lanes. They're getting further ahead in experience by a small margin. Again, that mule still on cooldown. That middle fort might not fall, but they could then rotate in if they're feeling confident.
Yeah, I think there's just too many structures sitting nearby for them to be able to take that out.
Probably.
So, structure-wise, pretty close. Slight advantage to Maelstrom. And it's all about the structures. We keep going back to talking about the structures. Like, why is so much more important on this map? Yeah, it's just a bit of experience. No, it has a lot more to do with the fact that the temples and those shots being fired away.
Mule VP.
Yeah, it is actually. It's making. And look, so once that heals all the way back up, the next temple will just be able to barely take that fort out. And if you can soak up an entire temple shot just because you had a great mule position, that's why people are taking this talent so much.
Blinks.
And that's why we're talking.
Expecting this. This could be awful for iDream. He is all alone right now. The totem goes down. Ooh, a big gravity lapse. Brightwing is coming on in. The polymorph can go out. Blink heal to keep him alive. Wheeling her from Sylvanas. It's been an incredible bait. Zeratul comes down, blows up one hero. Blink's trying to escape. Hans, I don't know if he's going to be as fortunate. And McIntyre, he doesn't have the same kind of support here. Ancestral healing should still be available. Yes, it is.
Okay, yes, Hans does not quite have prescience yet. I do think that he should have dimensional warp off cooldown. Yes, there it is, but he doesn't quite get the healing. And healing goes down onto McIntyre. Yeah, he already has full HP.
Oh, very unfortunate. The Haunting Wave actually didn't go all the way through the wall, so it couldn't be used at the tail end. Trying to body block, McIntyre is going to use that dash forward to try to escape here. Juking left, right. Polly goes out, and that should be a blow-up onto him.
Wow, and that's a fort. They're already there, may as well. All of a sudden, a little bit of a slightly aggressive position for iDream on Kael'thas turns into a great play, a great response from Dunk Train with the immediate phase shift. Again, I've been saying this all day. It's just the mark of a really strong support player, knowing immediately as soon as someone is in trouble, like you get that phase shift right in there, and you turn that situation from something that was probably really bad, especially considering the fly over the wall that Trumbull threw down. Like, iDream was going to be dead. It was going to be dead, and the phase shift, and then the rest of the members rotating in. Just well played, all around.
All right, well, they are going to clean up these Giants. They now have earned themselves more than a level lead. Pro did aggro the boss, does not want to fight that quite right now, and the top temple and bottom temple will be spawning. Structurally, the Mule has done nicely. It's going to keep this one tower alive, but that's about it on the outskirts of the side of compLexity.
Yeah, again, that points more to the aggression as well for why they were so adamant about taking that fort. Obviously, they had the advantage with having just taken that team fight, but smart plays. So, another thing to mention too is Kael'thas, as the game stretches out, goes to the later game. Level 16, gets that huge power spike with the Ignite. The team fight dynamic and the spacing changes quite a bit.
Look at this. compro and iDream going down this top lane. They control that temple, so it's going to siege it up, and they're going to push with it. That Mule will be completely nullified. They can actually target it down if they decided to, and the entire enemy team is working on the boss. So, trading some pressure for the top lane for boss. I don't know if it's worth it. Sylvanas needs to make her way down now.
Okay, so yeah, they need to either fully commit. Do they defend against this boss pickup for compLexity, or do they take a keep? They need to do one or the other. And if they let this go to compLexity, we can look back on this as a mistake.
Well, the VP does go down, and we do see the Avatar being used by Caterpillar. Boss is down to its last lane. King Caffeine trying to stand on that point, but where is the sustainability? I mean, they're pulling them in. They're managed to pick compLexity apart rather rapidly. Hans and Cattle, Dwarf tossing away. They're going to steal the boss. They're making it work, Kubi.
They got it. They stole the boss away. They stopped that. I mean, it's not enough to really put enough pressure. Actually, there's a lot of mercenaries out at the top keep. They were able to take down Falstad as well. The Ancestral
Healing. His bird. That was horrible.
The Ancestral Healing just barely missed on McIntyre, and that ended up being a big deal in the fight. So you were mentioning, like, where's the sustain? Where is it? Like, they just barely missed it. That puts it on a 10-second cooldown. Pretty much the fight's over by the time you're able to use it again.
Talk about a convincing play here. They managed to get the additional push because of the Sylvanas KT in that top lane for a short period of time. They steal the boss. They steal the tail end of that bottom temple, and now they have nearly a 3-level lead.
Yeah, and it seems like it would be a greedy play at this point to go in to finish off that keep, but I think they should. Don't give the Mule too much an advantage or too much value at this point. I'm sure compLexity is more than happy to see that they haven't pushed in. Yeah, they're going to get that keep back up to full. So, again, just sort of little nitpicky things. I guess they just weighed that the risk was too much to go in to try to finish that off.
Well, all things considered, though, they did get a single keep out of this game, which will grant them those catapults in the top lane for the duration of this game number 3. Remember, this is the lower end finals, where the winner will advance to the grand finals of the event.
That's right. Jake, what is the biggest mistake that compLexity has made this game? They went for the throw pit.
Yeah,
that's it. Thus far, the game was very much within reach at that point. I mean, they can still obviously take this game, but
once you see
so many times the teams have thrown at that throw pit trying to grab an advantage.
Once you see the enemy team posturing around you and them leaving the top lane, just give it up. Like, it's never worth the risk. You're in a decent footing. You're down levels, and you're not going to be able to fight evenly. Fighting up with a boss on top of you, and the enemy team has Johanna, not going to work out. But Fan blinking out. There's a big metamorphosis going forward. Void Prison to buy some time here, and the Wailing Arrow going to hit 2 targets, evaporating that Falstad, and it looks like they're going to have to retreat here. McIntyre still going forward. The big gravity lapse to Condemn, pulling him in. It's gonna connect this time around.
That's it. McIntyre is able to stay up for the time being, but that is an unstoppable Johanna for this. And Dunk Train moving forward. The rest of his team, K1Pro, everyone, but all the heroics are down for the most part. Just the Blink heal. That's gonna be able to keep them alive. McIntyre getting the shield at the last second. He's able to stay alive. Does not have the evasion to keep himself up. And this is going to be 15 seconds before any of the the Falstad is back up. Don't think this is going to translate into them being able to take the middle keep. But they will be able to deny the
It's
mule
tough
from
to say.
Yeah.
The damage of Kael'thas Zeratul right here, actually King Caffeine with Giants in the bottom lane,
Yeah.
and K1 Pro, I think they're going to get both keeps, Kubi. They're
At the
getting
very least, the bottom
hyper-aggressive.
As this could be a bit of an overextension. The mule like working overtime, trying to make sure he can stall this out. We do see the mid keep fall.
Bottom one will be defended for the time being. That Mule doing its best, like you said, overtime keeping structures alive. But, you know, overtime only goes so far when there's actually giant laser beams assaulting your workplace.
Workplace. Okay, so they're able to take out, or at least hold control of this middle temple for the time being. Dunk Train, yes, he gets that forward vision with the scouting drone, is able to blink heal out of the position if he found it to be a dicey scenario. But King Caffeine will lead the charge going in just to start these fights up. Heroics are all up. We do need the Metamorphosis actually some time for that in the Void Prison as well. The Wailing Arrow seems to be the big turning point for these fights, and that is available.
Playmaker, it really is. Interland Blast has been used on King Caffeine, but not really the target you want to hit with that Brightwing phase shifting in. That's going to eliminate the enemy. And there's the Wailing hitting 3 targets. Tassadar barely surviving, but K1 Pro is on the job. We see that Rhaegar got hit with the Polymorph. Gonna try to back out here. Man, Void Prison actually being used to lock him down. There goes Tassadar. Blinks is gonna fall, and Caterpillar is dancing because he knows this is over. Cloud9 will advance to the grand finals once more.
Yeah, no, it's 25 seconds before Illidan is back up. They still have the majority of the remaining, or I guess all of their teammates are up. Dunk Train, probably one that would need to go to make sure, but yep, there's no way they're going to be able to save this, especially with the laser beams firing away
At their workplace.
at their workplace.
All right, well, you know what? Temple Storm. They're sitting there waiting in the winners finals, the grand finals. Cloud9. They have lost to Temple Storm in the winners finals of the last 3 events they have faced. Is today going to be different? Today is when Biceps is not here. Fan is now in that hot seat. Do they have the gusto
Ooh, it's a great word.
to take the grand finals? Can they do it? Because looking at past results, I'm ready to write that check to Temple Storm.
Wow.
I'm just fought shired, boys.
Sure.
But Cloud9, they looked very good in that last game.
Yes, they did.
Their rotations were exactly where they needed to be.
The decision-making was good.
They fixed the inconsistencies with their timings on heroics. There were no overlaps with the Void Prison and the Wailing Arrow. They played crisply. They were like a apple. I don't even...
You're done. You're on timeout, buddy. You're on timeout.
Oh,
You're done with the words.
Yep, done.